Welcome, Carol Ann Dickson and Leanne Friziello. These two lovely ladies have got a story to tell, and especially Carol Ann about her health journey. And I think there are people out there with many chronic conditions and confusion about the world health situation where we've had so much interventions lately and confusion. They're going to shed some light on how they've cut through the smoke screens of their troubles and put some things together. So, Carol Ann, tell me how it all began with your health situation, where it started for you.
Hi, I've had a bit of a journey with my health going from, a few little hurdles of, getting sick like a lot of people do in their life to actually each time I went to the doctor, I'd get labeled with another condition. And then I started to realize, gosh, I have a cluster. The doctors would always talk about a cluster of chronic health conditions. And I've basically been ping ponging between specialist to specialist, doctor to doctor, in and out of surgeries, emergency rooms, at the hospital, ambulances. And life has pretty much went from being normal to continually being in like a cyclone of just health problems. And I haven't been able to, up until just recently, actually be well enough to sit back on the outside and go, wow, things are starting to change for me now. Um,
Okay.
so, yeah.
So
Uh,
could you tell us a few of those labels so people get an idea of what you've been subject to, some of those illnesses?
yeah, it's kind of embarrassing in a way for me when an AMBO or a medic person says, what's your health conditions? And I'm like, oh gosh. And I have an app on my phone. I just hand it to them now because, and these aren't in any particular order, but to me, it's just like, gosh, uh, most people say one, two, three things. So here goes. Inappropriate sinus tachycardia, or IST, which is to do with your sinus node on your heart, which regulates the beating of your heart, whether it goes like brachycardia means slow beating, tachycardia is usually high. So I'm high. So my heart beats excessively high. So I take medication for that. I have extreme uncontrolled hypertension or high blood pressure. Um, that has been pretty much a lifelong thing and affected me quite severely. I've had mini strokes or what ischemic, like just the little ones, but was affected quite severely with um, uh, neurological conditions, which were symptomatic of a large stroke, but I'd had the little stroke, but yeah, kind of complex in that area. I'm actually a bleeder, so watch out. Having had two trades with blades, my mum thought I was mad. I'm a qualified chef as well as a hairdresser. So it's kind of stupid in a way because, yes, I did cut my finger when I was chefing and it wasn't pretty. And I've also cut my finger with my scissors as well. But anyway, that's cool. You know, um, yeah, I've conquered the bleeding situation, so that's fine. I get anaphylaxis from about 15 to 18 different foods, and I have multiple prescription drug allergies as well, which are not nice. Asthma, that's a pretty normal one. A lot of people have. That's the least of my concerns, that one. Um, Hypothyroid, which means my thyroid doesn't function properly. That's another one that a lot of people have, low thyroid. I also get regular, about 4 times a year, diverticulitis in my transverse colon, which isn't fun. That's pretty nasty. Go to hospital for that quite a bit. I also have a very, very rare other disease. It's called mesenteric panniculitis. Apparently, there's not many people in the world that actually have that. So I hate it. It's embarrassing. Like I really needed that one to be added to the list. Pernicious anemia, that's a hereditary fun thing that a lot of the women in our family have. I have fibromyalgia, which is nasty because that hurts a lot every day. Nothing seems to control the pain of that, but I have good days and bad days, like a lot of people with that. I have got a horrible thing called trigeminal neuralgia, or TN. A lot of people know what that is if they've got it. If you Google it, it's your trifacial nerve that comes off your brains, like, your nervous stem. And it's like electrical pain. It's
Wow.
relentless. They actually call it suicide disease. If you Google it, it'll come up with TN. And I can tell you, when it happens, you really do want to walk in front of a bus. It's nasty. I get idiopathic flushing, which means that they don't understand why, but if I get too hot, I turn into a walking beetroot. If I get too cold, I go all blue and dead-like looking. It's quite hilarious. Try to take the humour out of things because it's the only way I have been able to cope. Raynaud's syndrome, a lot of people get that. You kind of like get weird coloured fingers and stuff, and, affected by heat and cool. I've got lumbar scoliosis in 2 places. That can get painful on top of things. And I've also got complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD. I think that's it on my main list. So, as I said, it's embarrassing to list them.
Yeah, well, it's a wonder someone doesn't call you lucky.
I know, right? Well, I'm lucky I'm still upright because there's a lot of people in the world that are far sicker than I am. And
Yeah.
quite frankly, I have always tried to use a little bit of dark humor to get myself through each day. And the doctors are always, my gosh, you're so resilient, Carol Ann. Like, a lot of people would have turned to drugs, alcohol, or suicide by now. And I'm like, don't you worry. I have thought of all 3 of those at times, because you kind of get sick of being sick,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Look,
I
I
haven't,
couldn't imagine that hamburger with a lot. I mean, that is just over the top.
yeah,
A lot of people out there. I work in an allied clinic, and in that allied clinic, I see a lot of people come and go with challenges, and I thank God every day for my current situation. I still have deep compassion and empathy for all sufferers. That's what's led me in this direction. But my God, that's a lot to burden. So we go back to when you're in the thick of it, and it's been knocking you around for such a long time. And how this interview's come about is that there's been some changes that are positive, and that you're finding a way to manage your challenges. Can you tell us a little bit about this journey and where you're at now compared to where you were, say, 5 years ago?
Yeah, sure. As I said, with a lot of my fun list, I nickname it, which is not just once again my dark humor. With a lot of those health conditions, there's no escaping them. You have to accept them, and you have to deal the best you can with them. And my health has been sometimes so extreme that I, I get sick of going to hospital. It's sad when you ring the ambulance and they know, hello, Carol Ann, straight away. And it's like, dear God, they know me on a first name basis. And I've been, as I said, bouncing between specialists, lots of different specialists, even consultants and professors. They've all been at loggerheads trying to help me, because when you have a cluster of health conditions, sometimes what happens is they turn around and they go, the specialist or GP goes, well, I'd really like to help you, Carol Ann, but you can't take this medication because it will interact with this condition. So you're kind of like within sort of boundaries of, you keep grabbing short straws, what do I do to make myself better? In the past 5 years, on average, I have an admission up to 8 times a year into hospital.
Wow.
So, even if you rounded it down to 6 times 5, that's 30 visits to hospital. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of, I'm used to seeing doctors and nurses go into a flat spin and go and hear them talking. It's kind of funny when you're in the A&E and there's a curtain separating you. Now, curtains don't hold sound, do they? It's not like you're in a glass room. So And they're like, I don't know what to do with her. I really don't know what to do. Go and get this, just go get someone else. Like, come on, like, she's a freak. She's got so much stuff wrong with her. I don't know where to start. And I'm like, yep. And it, as I said, it's there's other people out there that are extremely way sicker than me, and I feel so bad for those people that I liken myself to being maimed with all of these evil things, but there's other people that get one problem and that takes them out. And I really feel for those beautiful humans that they may get, you know, that horrible cancer or something, and it just good night, Irene, they're gone. I linger on to annoy the medical world and myself, but basically, I would. I've been asking for help, like to the doctors and specialists. What can I do to get my blood pressure down? You know, what can I do, you know, to help myself? Because I'm at the end of my rope. As I said before, sometimes, you know, you just don't want to wake up because, like, I've got everything to live for. I've got a fabulous husband. I've got my cute, fluffy puppy. I've got beautiful friends like Leanne. I've got, you know, wonderful medical people trying their best to help me. I've got a lot to live for. I've got beautiful children. You know, I'm a granny, you know, like, the world is there to live, and I'm so grateful I do wake up, but I do get really depressed with all of the crap wrong with me, so to speak, you know, like the medical conditions. My blood pressure, for instance, I'll just grab my little blood pressure book. Hang on. I've got a little blood pressure book. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Anyway, in my blood pressure book, it was nothing for, you know, you've got an up reading on your blood pressure, as everyone knows, and a bottom reading. So systolic is the upper reading and a diastolic the lower reading, and your heart rate or your pulse. There was nothing for my blood pressure to be 235 over
Oh my
100,
God.
over 130, and my pulse was 160. Yep. So you can see, you know, it's all recorded.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
235, 160. I saw it.
Yep. 210 over 110, you know, 208, 87. These are, you know, these are all common readings. I don't feel that I don't take my blood pressure every day like I should, because I'm just over it. Okay. I hate it. Because I just know it's going to be high, right? And then, you know, being told by the doctors, you know, you're a walking time bomb, young lady. You know, you're only 57. And, you know, quite frankly, you're my youngest cardiology patient. And, you know, I'm used to serving grannies and grandpies in their 70s or 80s. And, you know, you're not going to live to your mid 60s, dear, if you can't get your blood pressure under control. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know. And, you know, my dad, of European descent, he had 3 strokes, and he had heart attack. And I found out when we're doing all the genealogy that I've got, yeah, pretty bad luck as far as my genetics go. So predisposed evil genetics. But anyway, we won't go there.
Has any of this challenge that's obviously, well, not obviously, it's come to you possibly through hereditary situations, you know, in your DNA.
Yeah.
Has any passed on to your children or grandchildren?
Funny you should say that, because my daughter gets low blood pressure, which is, she's just like, Mom, I feel like I'm going to spew and faint. It's like my blood pressure's so low. And we kind of make jokes about the fact that I'm so high that I don't have aeroplane or flying clearance, because I will go pop like a packet of Pringles if I get on a plane. So my daughter, however, passes out from low blood pressure. So it's kind of a bit weird. My son has kind of normal blood pressure, which is good. So I think I just am a bit unlucky that I got my dad's side of the family, you know, blood pressure issues. But I have tried to take medications. There's 5 families of medications with antihypertensives. And each family, there's like 5, and each family has an umbrella of drugs under each one, right? So I don't know what you know, some are beta blockers, some are calcium channel blockers, yada yada. I don't know the names of all of them. Sorry. I got 2 out of 5. Anyway, I think my brain would explode if I loaded it anymore. But yeah, so my cardiologist said, please don't take 2 of these families, because you will pop like a Pringles packet, as you say. And let's try one of the 3 families left. So I won't name the drugs because I want to scare people because some people drugs work great for and some people don't.
Mm.
I'm that 0.10 or 10 whatever freak that they don't work for. Basically, I had such a severe reaction to the first antihypertensive or blood pressure tablet that I tried. And within about an hour, I was in an ambulance and I was on oxygen. They filled me full of benzodiazepines to lower my blood pressure. And they basically put me on oxygen and they said, your blood pressure is riding so high that, your heart can't sustain this, yada, yada, And I'm like, joy. But what can you do? You just ride through it. And they said, and everyone unanimously has said, all of the specialists, all the doctors, you have to get your blood pressure down. Well, nothing has worked. So strike one with the first medication, nearly killed me. See you later after 2 tablets, never again. So when I react within half an hour. If I'm going to have a reaction, if it's anaphylactics, within 30 seconds. If it's a drug reaction, it creeps up. Sometimes it takes 10 minutes. Sometimes it's like an hour. So they tried me on drug number 2, family number 2. So same thing happened, but not quite as severe. Still ended up in hospital, but not as severe. So, okay, so you can't take that one. Let's try the third one. This is the last one you can try. So I tried that and nothing happened for the first 4 tablets. I'm like, yes, I found one I can take. Awesome. And then I started to get symptomatic. I thought, oh, shit, it's happening again.
Yeah.
I'm getting these horrible side effects. And, some side effects you can tolerate for a wee while and others you just can't. And so there goes my opportunities as far as antihypertensives go. So short of feeling a bit of a failure to the medical system and to the doctors and what choices I had, and look, I have got the European kind of heritage. I'm 5'3" and almost that wide as well. So my weight doesn't actually help. I'm a chonky girl. I have always struggled with my weight. So I would love to be healthier and skinnier again like I was in the past. I looked fabulous a long time ago. But all of the medications over the years, all of the inability to exercise, and my body has just gone overweight, and that hasn't helped my blood pressure at all either. So it's been difficult knowing that I can't take tablets and knowing that I can't exercise properly because my blood pressure was so high that I went to an exercise physiologist, and they said after doing 3 little warm-ups, they said, excuse me for a minute, because I had this little monitor on me and the monitor was beeping and she looked like a deer in the headlights, and she went running into the other room to talk to someone and said, okay, I'm really sorry, but you're too high risk. I said, aren't exercise physiologists the last stop as far as getting you healthy? And I said, so the doctors can't help me, and you're saying you can't help me because you're scared I'm just going to drop dead on your floor. And she goes, yeah, pretty much. She goes, thanks for coming. See ya.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot, and my understanding is if you found the right person who was really patient with you and there was baby steps, it wouldn't get to that. But you're outside the mold. Tell me,
Thank God
where
they
are you,
broke it.
where are you today compared to where you were a little while ago? Because I know part of this interview is to say that there's been some changes and a
Yeah,
move in
absolutely.
a more positive direction. I think our listeners would be really keen to find out what the improvements or percentage increases are and what sort of actions you've taken to not so much to say heal anything, but to at least manage, cope, or have an improved state of well-being. So perhaps you could elaborate on that for me.
Sure, not a problem. Well, as you know, when you get to that point where you almost give up, and then my sweet friend Leanne came along and she said, Carol Ann, and she's known me since I was a little annoying critter. I'm just a large annoying critter now. And she said, Carol Ann, you've got to try this product. It's like, it's helped me. You know that. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, a treatment, something, to take to help me. I'll react to it because Murphy's Law is it doesn't matter what I swallow, what I do, Murphy is cheeky and I'll react to it. So I was a bit hesitant. She goes, no, you've got to try this stuff. And I'm like, okay. So hesitantly, ever so hesitantly, I agreed to take a product called Elevea. They have a range of different products, and each one does different things. And me being the allergy queen, I was, as I said, very hesitant. And I thought, okay. And it took a lot of anxiety, courage, and I think fear for me to get over all of the above to try this product. I started on 2. Now, these are all safe, amazing products, but I was really scared stiff to try them. And so I tried the insiest, winsiest, tiniest little bit of it. And I thought, okay, I've got nothing to lose. I can't use the prescription drugs. I can't exercise. I'm in a bit of a stalemate here. So this is my last chance, you know. I've tried natural products before with no luck. I've been to have natural therapies like where they put those pins in you like a cushion. What is that called? Okay. Acupuncture. Yeah, no, sorry. I'd also, I tried hypnotherapy. I tried everything. Okay. So I thought, right, give it a go. So I tried this, the little capsules, and the company's Elevate, and the actual capsule that I was taking was called Immune. Pretty self-explanatory what it's going to do for you, because it's made from aloe vera, the inner leaf gel, and in the aloe vera is actually a molecule which helps you called ace-mannan. And ace-mannan is actually recognized by the medical world as being something that does actually help. Whereas if you were to just go to the health food shop and, you know, have a drink of aloe vera juice, you'd probably get, nearly said it out loud, you'd probably get a very loose bowels. Or, you know, you would perhaps get a stomach ache or something, you know, because it's that liquid stuff that you can drink from other products has got like the green stuff in it, like out of the aloe vera, and that's actually not that great for you. So this
would you say that's lectins? Lectins, is that's
yes,
what's
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the green inner gel and the outside of the leaves, just under the leaf. Now, the way aloe vera processes to get what they need from it, there's none of that, the lectins or the green stuff in it. It's pure, and the body clearly recognizes it as non-invasive, and it helps and cures a lot of things. But you not so much cure, but it will help a lot. Basically, different people have different levels of illnesses that they may not need that product to work for, but I clearly have a really bad immune system, and it's breaking down really badly. And so the ace-mannan in the Elevate Immune product actually is helping to heal my body slowly. And I'm also on another product, only taking 2 of the, I don't know, how many products, be about 10, wouldn't there? Something like that. Yes. There's quite a few. Some of them I can't take and I'll never be able to probably take, because some of them have caffeine in it, and I'm already tachycardic, so I can't take them. But the other product I'm taking is called Limitless, and I call it my beetroot bombs, don't I?
So is your doctor.
Because, and my doctor's actually calling it my beetroot bombs. And basically in beetroot, which is well known to be a very healthy thing, a lot of, you know, health and fitness people, you know, mulch up their beetroots and drink it, and, you know, it makes you pee and everything really pretty color. But the reality is you can't actually eat or drink enough beetroot to medically help you. Otherwise, you would be a walking beetroot, basically. So this little tiny capsule is jam-packed. It's like powdered dehydrated beetroot. And in it is some of, there's like
500 cooked beets.
500 cooked beetroots in one of these little suckers. Now, I've been taking 4 of them a day, which is double the normal dose for normal people. I'm not normal, if you haven't already gathered by now. So basically 4 of these capsules, double the amount, and I had pretty pink pee too. It's wonderful. But
TMI.
basically, yeah, sorry, I'm a bit twisted. There's no
It's all good. It's all good.
there's absolutely no cure for my brain.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
cooked.
yeah.
But basically, I take 4 of them a day. And what's in the beetroot is a thing called betalains. Betalains is the molecule that doctors recognize. So,
and your doctor's familiar with it too.
I'm so excited. My blood pressure's going down, and nothing has taken my blood pressure down. Okay. And oh my God, I got to read you. I got my book again. See my book? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me open it. In my book, I've only been on these 2 products for 3.5 months.
Right.
And in that 3.5 months, my blood pressure's gone from those psycho readings in the 200s for the systolic and the diastolic over 100s, right?
Mhm.
My last blood pressure reading was 144 over 84.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
And
my pulse was 67. Sorry about, I lived in New Zealand for 8 years and I still can't get rid of that accent. But anyway, so, yep. So, like, check it out. Amazing stuff. So, it's averaging. It's kind of like doing a little tiny little roller coaster now. Instead of psycho, you're going to die. You're going to have a heart attack or stroke.
Can you hold those readings up again and just leave them there a little longer for people to see?
Sure.
Yeah. That's remarkable because
And that's
I
at
do
the
it.
doctor's. My doctor took, I can't say, my doctor took that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So, you can see the readings. The systolic has come right down. You can see all my weird writing down the side,
yeah.
which basically I put down, just come inside, just sat down, been a bit busy today, quite active.
Mhm.
And so usually if you run around like a headless chalk, basically your blood pressure is up higher, right? And then once you sit and rest, it will come back down. So I took it again. I mean, that reading was 168 over 93 and my pulse was 72. And then, it just goes back down again after about an hour of resting now. Whereas before it would just stay the same, if not climb. Or I'd be watching a movie and I'm quite a sap, if I watch a romantic comedy, kind of thing, like I'm pathetic, like, very emotional chick. It must be the European in me, I suppose. But anyway, because I talk with my hands as well. And like, basically I would have high blood pressure and sometimes I have to pause my Netflix because I'm like with anxiety, blood pressure, and I just couldn't handle those emotions and stuff in the movie. I was pathetic. And so and let's not mention the obvious, like, I'm married, like, married.
Mhm.
And like basically when you're married, you kind of, you love your partner, and there was even interfering my blood pressure with that. So it was just like, oh, babe, I'm not too sure about it because I don't want to, you don't want
Yeah.
a sack kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, I joke about it, but it was clearly a real issue, very real problem. And, I mean, my cardiologist said, well, it is a great way to go, I suppose. But I didn't really want to leave that with my, but like, I just am so pleased that my blood pressure is starting to stabilize. As I said, little roller coasters, but, having a reading now, 168 on 93, like I said before, but, I'm getting, 144 on 84. I'm getting 155 on 88, 140 on 69. I've not had sort of normal readings like that before. So I'm stoked.
They're still basically high for the common man in the street, but compared to
Correct.
where you've been, there's a radical difference. Like if
Absolutely.
like they pressured me. I got up to 94 kilo, and they pressured me to take the tablets and take
Yeah.
statins and
Oh, they're nasty.
metformin and got another the whole lot. And I just
Yeah.
said, no, you're not touching me. And I went from 92, I think, to 70 kilo, over a year and a bit. I'm back up to about 82, 83, but I'm happy there.
You look pretty good. And yeah, you're looking pretty fit, I must say. Like, it's really nice when you can manage to achieve something, whether it be weight loss, whether it be whatever. For
That's the other
me,
thing, you're losing weight.
oh yeah, I know.
Mm.
There's so many other things this has done. It's not just stabilizing my blood pressure.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
recently interviewed a guy who has ankylosing spondylitis. And
Yeah,
what I
that's
realized
nasty.
that after his interview, that's what excited me to set this up with you guys and do this interview, is there's a lot of people silently suffering and they do need hope. They do need a vision for the future. And I say to people, the decisions you're making now in your food choices, your lifestyle choices, you'll get to a stage where you go, I'm young, it doesn't matter, I got sick or I got over it. But if you don't have your health around our age, what do you have? I mean,
Exactly.
you can't enjoy a movie. You can't enjoy a
Mm.
walk in the sun or down the beach. You can't go to a museum because you're sick. You can't enjoy things. You're distracted. So to hear
Yeah.
about your blood pressure is really phenomenal. Has it impacted other areas in your life? I guess, have you had a multi-pronged approach besides the...
Absolutely. It's not just my blood pressure. In the past 3.5 months, my anxiety, look, it's so many things. Like, seriously, I'm not too scared to say that one of my specialists is actually a shrink, because you have this many health problems, you really need to talk to somebody about it. And
we're all batshit crazy, so everyone needs a shrink. So it's all good.
So my psychologist said to me, she goes, Carol Ann, have you started antidepressants? And I said, no. And she goes, you're different. And I'm like, what do you mean? I said, so I'm not like a crazy squirrel anymore. And she goes, well, I wouldn't say you're a crazy squirrel, but like you tend to, like it, look, I said, look, I know, I can say it out loud. I'm not a scatty anymore. And I can think clearer. I can focus mentally on things before that I wasn't able to. Seriously, I was like a squirrel.
Well,
Like,
brain fog is huge,
it's
like
massive, absolutely
so many
massive.
people don't even know what's going on, and then they get that clarity when they stop drinking, stop smoking, or take a supplement, or start an exercise program, and then this clarity shows up, and they go, "Hang on, I didn't even realize I had brain fog," and that gives them the strength to go on and improve and seek out more modalities of behaviour. So, would you say this has impacted your optimism, your compelling future?
Absolutely. I'm not as depressed, even though I'm still not a well person
I understand.
as a whole. Like, I've still, all of my fun list, as I call it, hasn't gone away. But as I said, I wasn't even wanting to face the next day because I was sick of being sick, So my mental clarity is so much better. I'm so grateful for that. And so many people are noticing that. Also, I mean, no one ever wants to talk about going to the toilet, do they? I mean, let's face it. That's like the
it's a shit subject.
Exactly. And I give people the shits anyway, but basically I was never able to shit myself. So that's basically what, as I said, I'm a bit warped. So I basically was more bound up than a mummy. I could not kind of regulate, number twos, right? So I was just like, mate, I'm going to explode, every 4 days. Now, that's not normal, okay? There's a lot of toxins running around your body.
Well,
and
that's where colon cancer can come in, because
correct.
of
And
the
I've
retention.
already, and I have regular colonoscopies and endoscopies, and I have had adenomas cut out already, which is not great. And because I've also got the other two bowel conditions, that's not great either. So I'm predisposed to that. I'm on the high risk list at the hospital for that. So I've got to be a little bit cautious. And it didn't matter whether I had a kilo of prunes. I wouldn't even pass win after a kilo of prunes, mate. Seriously. Like, nothing worked. This stuff has made me, I poop every day. I mean, I shouldn't be excited about that, but I am. Like, really? Like, that's just so wrong. So
there's so many people that would identify with your challenges. I mean, it's that terrible joke as the old people talking about, I can't go for a pee. I can't pee till 10 o'clock. And the other one says, I can't pee till 11 o'clock. And the other fellow says, I pass my bowels, no problem. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I have a pee at 7. And they said, well, why are you miserable? He says, because I get up at 8.
Unreal. Yeah. So that's so funny. So
It's funny, but it's sad. Yeah.
it is absolutely. But it's those things, like no one talks about it. No one wants to talk about it, But seriously, I had doctors saying to me, here, try some Movicol, try some this, try some that. And I tried things and I get so sick from those things. So I had drug reactions to it. I'm thinking, mate, not even a kilo of prunes work. I can't take the prescription stuff. What do I do? Now, these 2 products I've been taking have been helping me poop. So how amazing. And I'm like,
Once system starts to work a bit better, it'll impact the other systems as well. So
it has.
it has a holistic effect.
Yeah. And as I said, I'm a bit of a chonker with my weight, but I've lost 4 kilos without trying as well.
And your shape is actually changing.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm going down in inches, but I'm not seeing a lot on the scales, but I'm a little bit more active than I used to be. So I have more energy as well.
Energy is where it starts and finishes. If
Yeah.
you're energetic, you'll move around and exercise. Exercise is medicine. You have to exercise. And what a lot of people don't realize is incidental exercise, like walking just around the block. People have walked off so many of their problems. Just walking alone has helped.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a huge difference. I was struggling to walk out of my house to my letterbox. It was really difficult. I was so out of breath. Seriously, it's so sad. I went to the major hospital to see my cardiologist, and I'm walking up the corridors, and I'm going, and an 80-year-old grandma flipping drags me off, and I'm like, shit, this shouldn't happen. I'm 57, and this grandma goes past me like turbo mode, and it was so embarrassing. And other times I was like, so out of breath, and orderly got a nurse. They did my obs, and they said, darling, you're going to have to be wheeled around the hospital to your appointment in a wheelchair. And I said, oh, great. So, I was struggling with so many things. I still am not 100%, but I am so much better. I think if there was some person out there that, there's got to be people out there worse than me. Please say there is. But the thing is, if one person listening to this could get some relief from their illnesses, it would just warm my cockles. I mean, seriously, I would be so happy, because suffering is not fun.
Look, I'm with you 100%. See, this channel's not about promoting product at all, right?
No, not at all. I'm so happy something's working.
But there are so many multi-levels products. There's all this stuff with Barbara O'Neill coming out now, tablets for this, tablets for that. I think half of it's AI. I'm not sure it's even her. But the thing is, what harm could it do when you're at the end of your tether to try something like you're talking about? Because I've had my days of challenge in my health journey, and I've done extraordinary things to turn that around. And one size doesn't fit all. So like you said, you were reluctant, you didn't have the confidence, but you took the risk. Did you consult your doctor before you took any of this Elevate?
Well, the doctor said to me, if you don't try something, young lady, you won't be here in a few years' time.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, my husband's sitting the other side of the computer. I've got more torturing to do for him yet. So I wanted to still be here.
But your doctor's actually looked at this, and what has he told you?
The doctor said to me, it seems to be, doctors they're not really into healthy stuff. You know what I mean? Right. It's just like, here's a prescription, take this. But as you said, one size doesn't fit all. So that my GP said to me, the 2 molecule things that you're talking about, the betalanes and the aceminin, that's proven research stuff right there. He says, if this product's loaded with it and it seems to be working for you quite well, you've got a long road to recovery. I'll never be normal. But I mean, if I continue on this path, I will just be so happy. And the doctors are really happy. And, going there, and he took my last blood pressure and he wrote it in my little book, and he just goes, keep taking those beetroot bombs, because that's what I've nicknamed them, and my aloe vera.
Well, I want to encourage you and others because, look, I used to think doctors are drug, they belong to the cartel, they're drug pushers. No, they study for 7 or 8 years. So they're
Sorry, I snort. That's
well,
another problem. It's not on the list though.
there are some doctors that are multifaceted, that they've taken their studies further. There's personal trainers that are personal trainers that have done 6 weeks training in the gym and they're operating outside their scope of practice. But then there's personal trainers that have made a lifelong study of health. And physician heal thyself. So really, when you access a doctor or a product, you've got to have, like, you've got a logbook, you've got to take measurements and you've got to analyze yourself and say, what do I need to do to take care of myself? It's not the doctor's responsibility to heal you or make you better. They're a resource you tap into. And in a lot of cases, I've come away from the doctor and go, well, that's half an hour I'll never get back, But,
and the money you never get back either.
Oh, yeah. Someone said, are you in
like,
much pain? I said, yeah, hit me right in the wallet, But
exactly.
the thing is, I still have respect for the amount of study and care they put in and for someone with a heart to heal, But I do say to people, it's a minefield. A lot of doctors are unhealthy themselves. Their nutrition experience is so minimal. So, look, I'm really impressed. Perhaps we can even come back and do another stint of this and talk to people about where you're at in another 6 to 12 months time or something like that. So they've got this as context of where you've been, where you're at, and this new intervention. But I've got a feeling that your confidence may come up and you might venture out into more holistic remedies that complement each other and that you will come through it, because it seems like we're all given challenges to resolve. Some people do nothing about them and they're taken out by them. Even if they don't die, they just have a miserable life. But other people like yourself, I can just see you've been suppressed and held back by so much. It would have affected your marriage, your career, your personal life.
Everything. Like having 3 trades and not, studying 10 years total. That's a good chunk of life to study for, and having had businesses before, and I loved running a salon and working and stuff. I love being a chef and I love being a beauty therapist. I mean, they were my 3 trades. But being so sick and not being able to work full time or even half that time, it's really hard to claw your way back. And people say to me, like today we were out and about, I was with Leanne, we're having fun in a group and singing and stuff, and it was good fun. And one of the ladies said to me, you don't look sick. I put makeup on just for you.
I got a friend who's got stage 4 cancer. Her life's really been tipped upside down. She's not well. And she's lost a lot of weight, and everyone says, "Oh, you look so amazing! You look perfect! You look so well." She goes,
Yeah, you kind of get sick of hearing that. It's a very common thing. People judge that surface. My doctors have said to me, "You are so resilient." I liken myself to a cockroach, but not the yucky side of a cockroach, the resilience. So I will run under the fridge though, if I could fit. But like seriously, I am resilient. I try to see the glass as half full rather than half empty. Some of my health problems won't go away. They are lifelong and permanent, and I have to deal with those things. But dealing with too many things on my hit list, I'm thinning out some of the things.
Awesome.
You've cut back on your pain medication.
Yeah, I'm only taking half the pain relief as what I was 4 months ago.
Tell Freddie what you were taking.
Well, with the pain relief, there's a downside to it. There's always a cost. So if you're taking half the pain relief, you're going to get a benefit from that as well.
Absolutely. I was a walking, rattling. Hang on. My Smartie packet.
Oh gosh.
Look at
that. A gugaracha.
But yeah, so basically, it's embarrassing, like whenever I've gone, gone to hospital, say, "Have you got your meds, dear?" And I hand them like a suitcase, I laugh about it a lot. I mask a lot. My doctors know I have an extremely high pain tolerance, and I pretend all the time I'm fine when I'm really not.
Yeah,
so you just have to try to find that strength. But I won't lie, 4 months ago, I was sitting there, I was crying I felt like I was dying. I didn't have a lot of, I mean, there's days where I get halfway through the day, even now, and I crash, you know. Rome wasn't built in a day, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely. That's why I'm thinking contextually for this podcast interview, we've set context for who you are and what's going on in your life, and that there's a beginning of a new journey of some sort of relief. I'd like to check in with you in 6 months' time and have another interview to see how things did pan out and where you're at then. So yeah, look, it's a lot of things to deal with. I just want to thank you both for pursuing me and wrestling with the technology for a little while before we started. That shows your tenacity and your perseverance. You definitely
perseverance. I learned how to use computer in about, what was it, half an hour?
it was a fun journey. It was a fun journey. So what we'll do is we'll wrap it up here, and we'll have another session down the track. How's that? How's that? So
yeah, that's fine. If you can put up with me again, hopefully there'll be less of me on the screen. I'll be a little less blubbery,
no,
and
you're fine. You're fine.
and hopefully I'll be a little bit more healthier or a little bit more stable and less things on my. This is my fun list.
All right.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, and then it goes like this. Watch.
Oh my God. And a partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, I know, right? So hopefully there'll be a few of those nasty things which aren't as nasty. I mean, you know.
Well, my prayer for you is that the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life far exceed the past. I know you've had good times in the past too, but I just hope for a really optimistic future for you. Now, for the listeners, if you'd like to hear more of this sort of stuff and get on the channel, feel free to subscribe, ring the bell, do all the magic. And yeah, we'll put something in your footnotes that people can follow your story. I guess you're going to do a blog at some stage, or share.
We're out of his computer. Sorry.
Well,
yeah.
Success is something we all need to hear about and all need to share. And you've inspired me because I've had a couple of twists and turns that I thought difficult. And I said to someone the other day, because I'm a counselor, professional counsellor, and I talk to people and they tell me their trauma, and I come home and I say, well, if you had every bad thing that ever happened to me, every trauma, probably 6, 12, 2 years, most of 72 years was terrible. The rest has been fantastic. But, because it's spread out and this happened, me, you feel sorry for yourself. But the more I interview, the more I hear, the more I realize I'm blessed and I'm called to help people. And your story is, wow. Yeah. So thanks for coming on. I wish you all the best and look forward to hearing a lot more.
Thank you so much, Frederick. And thank you for putting up with me. Appreciate it.
That's a pleasure.